Hi, welcome back dito sa channel natin. And for today's video, papakita natin yung naging laro nga nila Grandmaster Vladimir Kramnik and Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana, sorry for that. And ito ay nangyari sa kanilang title Tuesday. Actually, ang game na ito ay pinapalaro ng chess.com, and kung sino yung magiging champion will receive 1,000, I think nasa $1,000 or nasa mahigit 54,000 dito sa Pilipinas. So, tingnan natin ang kanilang naging laro. So, nag-E4 opening nga dito si Fabiano Caruana. Ang white pieces dito si Fabiano and black naman si Vladimir Kramnik. Actually, si Vladimir Kramnik, kasabayan nila Kasparov, yan nila Anan, and he is one of my idol during my high school days. So, nag-E6 nga. Isa sa mga paboritong opening din ni Vladimir Kramnik ang E6, which is the French defense. So, nag-D4, D5. So, pinasok nila ang normal variation. Then, nag-E takes D5, E takes D5. Then, nag-Bishop to D3 and Bishop to D6. Then, nag-Knight F3 and Knight E7. Ito ay bookline pa rin. Kung makikita natin, ang variation na ginamit dito nila is ang exchange variation na merong E takes D5. So, castle lang din. So, basically, normal development lang din during openings. And group to E1, then bishop to F5, pressure on the bishop of D3, and bishop takes F5, knight takes F5 para merong pressure on the pawn. Then king to D3. Then, or queen to D3. And queen to D7. And knight to C3. Knight to C6. The knight takes D5. Bishop takes H2 check. And king takes H2. Then queen takes D5. Then C3. Then queen to D6 check. Then king to G1. Then G6. Para palakasin ang knight sa F5. So, ito makikita natin sa evaluation na pinapakita nito ni stock piece is slightly better for the white pieces. Then, knight to G5. Actually, ang kanilang game ay binibigyan lamang sila ng 3 minutes per game. So, knight to G5. Then, king to G7. Then, knight to E4. Then, queen to D5. Then, bishop to F4. Para pressure on the pawn C file. Then rook A2 E8. So dagdag pressure on the knight. Then rook to E2, then rook to E7, then rook A to E1, then F6. So after F6, knight to G3. Dito makikita natin na kapag nagkakaroon ng pagkakataon na magkakarap ang dalawang rook, ang rook mo or ang rook ng kalaban, you'll just need to wait na ang kalaban ang kumain ng rook. But depende lang sa situation. But in most of the time, dapat hahayaan mo lang ang kalaban mo na kumain ng rook para ikaw yung mayroong pagkakataon na makapag-control ng file na yan. So, rook takes to E2. Rook takes to E2. So, after rook takes to E2, biglang bumagsak ang evaluation bar ng white at napunta sa black. So, nagiging nagiging so much better na for the black pieces. So, kapag ganito ang naging sitwasyon. So, again, ang pupwede lang sanang gawin ng white, dapat ang ginawa lang ni sana ng white kanina, eto, tingnan, balik ko lang. So, after rook takes to E2, dapat ang sinagot dito is, what if ang sinagot ng black is rook takes to e2. So kapag rook takes to e2, rook takes to e2, knight takes to g3, bishop takes to g3, rook to f7, b3, queen to d7, then d5, knight to e7, then c4, palakasin lang para meron kang strong formation ng pawn, then knight to f5, then bishop to f4, pressure on the c7, then rook to e7, then king to f1, pawn to h5, then rook to e4, rook takes e4, queen takes e4, c6 para basagin ang pawn, and bishop to d2, and c takes d5, queen takes d5, queen takes d5, and c takes d5, and h4. So kapag ganito ang naging sitwasyon, magiging balance lang ang kanilang evaluation, sabi ni Stockfish. So balik natin sa ginawa dito ng black kanina. So nag-rook takes to e2, knight takes f5, check, g takes f5, then rook takes e2, rook takes e2, and king to h8. So dito makikita natin na merong isang rook, queen, and knight ang para sa black pieces, and ang white pieces naman merong rook, queen, and bishop. So b3, so ang idea para pwedeng ma-force na ma-push natin ang c-pawn to the c4. So queen to d7, queen to e3, inunahan na ang paglagay ng queen sa e-file. Rook to f7, queen to e8, check. Then king to g7, umiwas lang. Rook to e3. Rook to e3, ang idea po pwedeng ilagay ang rook on the g3. So after niyan, kinain. So since nakita niya ni Vladimir Kramnik, kaya obligadong kainin talaga ang queen. So after niyan, rook takes to e8, then knight to e7. Talagang bilinak na talaga ang rook para hindi na makaalis. So after niyan, nag c4, then knight to g6, then inatras lang, bishop to d2, rook to d7, pressure on the pawn, and nag bishop to c3, depensa lang, c6, then f3 para mapigilan ang knight, then king to f7, pressure on the rook, then rook to e3, knight to f4, king to f2, knight to e6, then rook to d3, knight to f4, rook to e3. So dito meron na lang 49 seconds si Fabiano Caruana and 16 seconds for Vladimir Kramnik. And nag b5. After b5, nag g3 para pailisin ang knight. Then knight to e6. Then rook to d3, depensa lang. B takes c3, b takes c4, b takes c4, and nag knight c5 para paalisin ang rook. Then rook to d2. Then knight to a4, bishop to a5, then rook to b7, then d5. Dito makikita natin biglang umangat ang evaluation bar ng white kumpara sa black. Then c takes d5, c takes d5, and nag king to e7. So ang idea para po pwedeng makain ng king ang rook, ang pawn, para dagdag na lang ding suporta and atake on the pawn. So a3, after a3, nag king to d7, bishop to b4, and nag rook to b6, then nag rook to d4, knight to c8, then rook to h4, then king to e8, then king to e3, then pawn to a5, bishop takes a5, then bishop b3, check, then king f4. Dito biglang bumalik sa balance ng kanilang evaluation. Then rook takes a3, Then, bishop to b4. So, after bishop to b4, rook to a4. Biglang umangat ang evaluation bar ng puti. Gawa nga ng bad move ang ginawa dito ng black. So, again, dapat pero sana ang posibleng ginawa ng black, pwedeng ginawa niya kanina is rook takes a3, bishop to c7, knight to e7, rook takes h7, then rook to a4 check, then king to e3, knight takes d5. So, ganito lang sana ang ginawa ng black. Kaya lang, balik natin sa ginawa kanina. So, rook takes a3, bishop to b4, then rook to a4, king to f5, king takes f5, king to f7, rook takes h7 check, then king to g8, then rook to b7, depends on the bishop, then king h8, then king to g6. Dito makikita natin na malapit na ding ma-make ang black pieces dito and wala na ring oras ang natitira kay Vladimir Kramnik. Kaya nag-resign na si Vladimir Kramnik dito. So again, I hope na meron kayo nakuha for this game. So tabayanan nyo kami sa mga panibagong games na i-upload pa namin. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment na lang din sa comment section kung ano yung mga gusto pa ninyong ipakita namin sa channel na ito. So again, thank you for watching and have a good day.